What strikes fear into the heart of every Komodo Kamado owner? Venting. So all that is curing the grout on your cooker the first time you get up to a high temperature. So yeah, I'm gonna show you. Essentially what we're gonna do is raise the cooker up slowly to those higher temperatures. What that's gonna do is allow that grout to get to a temperature where it starts to vent that solvent into a gas, and at a crack, like the one you see here, that solvent will start to vent out. And then after this process, you're good to go. You can cook at 1,000 degrees if you want, without issue. But this is a part of the process that's anticipated, and Komodo Kamado is gonna send you a little bit of grout so that you can cover those little cracks, and you'll never see it again. It'll look good as new, and you'll be sealed. So here we go. All right, so if you do want to go into the next level of details, I do have a video right here that explains venting.
Okay, here we go. Inaugural firing. As you can see, I've got a heat gun. That's how I fire my cookers up. So what I will do, and I've got, essentially, this is in screaming wide open mode. Which means this is literally open. That's as much air as you can feed this thing. And this is open all the way. So what I'll do is, once I see this getting up to maybe 100 degrees or so, because you know, when you're using a Komodo, you're always anticipating. Because once you get past your temperature, you're done, son. You're not getting it back. So I'm in the process of heat soaking this. It's actually warm just from the sun at the moment, but it's going to be cool on the inside because of that awesome insulation. So you can see it's even starting to go up a little bit. I'll let it get to 100, 150, and then I'll start closing it down because I want it to sit at a couple hundred degrees for, you know, an hour or so. Then I'll go to 300 and so on. I don't even know if this is, you know, per se the best way, but it's my baby. I'm gonna be overly cautious with it. Probably if Dennis was here, he'd be like, oh, you can just go straight to 300 or so, let it sit there for a little bit, and then go to 500, let it sit there for a bit, and you'd be fine. Yeah, but I'm like one of those overprotective moms, so I'm not in a hurry. I've got plenty of charcoal if I need to refill it, which I doubt I will. So I'll just let it do its thing nice and slow and kind of enjoy the process. Yeah, you can see that chimney effect is doing what it does. All right, so literally the first time I've had fire in this thing, and predictably it's, you know, it's behaving itself. So it got up to a little over 100 degrees. I mean, I'm not worried about it getting away from me because there's a lot of mass here to heat soak. But, you know, like I said, I'm babying it. So I did decide to close the damper so it's not in wide open, screaming wide open mode. But I've got everything about as open as you can have it without pulling it out. I haven't adjusted the screw here. This thing is wide open. And it's climbing. I mean, yeah, you can see even just now it's climbed, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 degrees. Once it gets to 200, I'll close things, not close them down, but I'll slow them down so it's in maintaining temperature mode, which the whole point of this thing is that it barely needs any air movement. So right now it would just keep climbing, climbing, climbing with this much available oxygen. So I'll, based on what I've heard from others, I'll roll this down to maybe even, you know, in this neighborhood somewhere. It'll look like it's barely getting anything, and I'll close this one completely off. You're like, are you crazy, man? You're gonna kill your fire. Well, if if the Komodo Kamado works as advertised, I probably, like, it's not even heat soaked yet, so it'll take it a little time to build up some heat in all of this mass. That's a lot of mass to heat. So yeah, it's at 200 up here in the dome temperature, but it's not heat soaked yet. So I'm gonna let it just go a little past 200. Then I'll start dialing it back so it can maintain that 200 degree temperature. All right, so it's only been a few minutes and you can see my temperature is climbing. So it's starting to get some heat in there and it's climbing fast. So what I'm gonna do is close this guy down, which is gonna make that fire mad. So now it's closed. I'm gonna open it half turn for now to see what it does. That's probably even still too much. I'm going to completely close this guy and, whoops, help if you can see that, huh? I'm gonna completely close this side, and then this side, I'm just gonna leave that much, which that's not a lot of air. That's not a lot of air, but I don't want this temperature to get too far away from me. And I'm cognizant of the fact that this is still soaking up some heat. So as anticipated, this is gonna start dropping. It might even drop all the way back down to 200. Predictably, even as I'm talking here, you can see that temperature is going down. Why? Because this doesn't have heat in it yet. It had immediate heat coming up from below that was driving this, but the cooker itself doesn't have that heat built into it. So as soon as you reduce that heat below, this is gonna react very quickly, but it's not representative of where this is gonna go. So if I can keep it between 2 and 250, I'll be happy with that. Like, this is still a pretty good amount of airflow. I've got the top actually at half, which I know some folks, to maintain heat, will keep it at a quarter. So I'm gonna see what that does, but if I can maintain it here at 250 for a little while, you know, maybe I'll put it on the clock and keep it here for an hour or two, and then go up to 350 and so on from there. All right, so it's probably been 5 minutes or so since I reduced the airflow, and what I'm noticing is the temperature did stabilize around 250. It looked like it wanted to start creeping up again. So given that I want to keep it about 250, I'm gonna go to that quarter turn, which I've heard and I've seen from others on YouTube that this has been kind of their formula for maintaining temperature. You know, having this bottom vent right about there, and having this top vent, that's a quarter turn for me. So I'm very happy with just how the temperature is behaving. It seems to be doing what I'm predicting so far, but I'll keep an eye on it. All right, so it's been about 45 minutes, and this guy keeps trying to creep closer and closer to that 300 degree mark. I think some of that has to do with, you know, just it being brand new, like there's no soot in it at all. I remember my big green egg dealer saying, yeah, brand new Komodo is like a Ferrari, like it's rearing to go. So I'm glad I took a cautious approach. Not that I'd be in trouble. I could go to, you know, 400 and be just fine. I'm just wanted to work my way slowly to 500, and I think this plan is gonna get me there. I did close the top even more, so it's maybe, I don't know if it was degrees, it's maybe like at 40 degrees, 45 degrees, so less than a quarter or a little over a quarter turn. And then down here, I'm trying not to make you dizzy. You can probably see that well. I mean, I've just got like a little, excuse me, a tiny bit of opening there. So, yeah, I'll let you enjoy the view here. So anyway, it's been here for about an hour, just under an hour. So I'm just gonna let it sit here maybe for another hour and then bump it up 100 degrees. maybe do a couple hours, bump it up 100 degrees, and then let it sit at 5 for 2-3 hours, and I should have plenty of charcoal for that. So Dennis gives you like a really detailed instruction book. I've been hovering around 4. I've been kind of working my way to 450. You know, it's been a few hours now. I've just been kind of easing it up, as I said. So I think I'm going to leave it at 450 for a while, then jump to 5, leave it at 5 for a couple hours, and then, you know, maybe I'll cook something on this thing. But I did have to throw more charcoal in. I should have read the instructions. It said, yeah, start with a full basket of charcoal. So, of course, I still didn't follow the directions. I opened her back up and put a half basket in there. So I I adjusted everything and put a half basket in. But it's been going along just nice, trucking along. You know, it's definitely nice and heat soaked now. I mean, you can touch it and not kill yourself, but it's warm for sure. It's warm, and it's sitting in the sun too. But no, you can tell even like this is a little warm. It's been chugging along for a few hours now, so cool. I'll check in with you when I'm hovering around 5. All right, I've probably been running for about 4.5 hours now. I finally let this thing get up to 500 degrees, and you know, interestingly, one of the things that Dennis says in the instruction manual is that you may smell something that smells like latex paint, and I definitely do. I can smell that right off the top here, and I think I've got a little vent hole. Where is it on the camera? Right there. See that little opening right there? That's probably releasing some gas. So I'm going to take a look around and see if I can find others. I just, you know, really quickly looking, I didn't see any, but yeah, there's probably some others. This is what it's supposed to do. So I'm going to read the instruction book again, and I think it says I don't have any tiles popping off or anything like that, but I'm not even sure if I need to do anything for this guy, but I'll read the book and see what it says. For now, I'm going to keep it right here for a couple hours, and then see what's going on with other venting places. So this whole venting thing, so not a big deal. I was a little worried about it, but this tube that you see is essentially additional grout that you can use. You just apply it on those vents that you saw, and then you're done. So I've got a whole nother video that explains the physics here, but it's so not a big deal. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'm happy to address them for you. I did have a long chat with Dennis Linkletter, who's the owner and inventor of the Komodo Kamado. So I feel like I've got the latest information, but happy to share that with you. Throw me a like and a subscribe, if you will, and we'll keep getting some of this KK content out there. Thanks a lot. Bye.